What if the IRS didn't just change a form, but changed your future? In 2025, a quiet storm is forming inside America's tax code. The new crypto IRA tax rules aren't about guidance, they're about control. And if you don't understand them now, your retirement could pay the price later. Most people think the danger is losing money in the market. It isn't. The real danger is losing it to the system you trusted to protect it. These next few minutes will show you exactly how the IRS rewrites the game, how it redefines tax-free, how it blurs withdrawal and penalty. One silent update in 2025 could erase decades of your savings. This isn't fear. This is foresight. Because retirement isn't built on hope. It's built on awareness. So ask yourself, when the IRS changes the rules, will you adapt, or will you be the one paying for everyone else's mistake? Part 1. The Quiet Trap. They call it a tax update, but in reality, it's a trap wrapped in fine print. The Crypto IRA Tax Rules 2025 aren't designed to educate you. They're designed to expose you. Every new clause, every tiny adjustment in Section 408 and 72T gives the IRS one more weapon, one more way to reclassify your gains as income, to quietly pull your tax-free growth back into their system. Here's the truth. Institutions have entire legal teams reading those 300-page memos line by line. But you, the individual investor, you're given a headline, maybe a short email, and a good luck from your custodian. And while you sleep, while you trust, the definitions change. What was once a qualified withdrawal can become a taxable event overnight. The trap isn't the rule itself. It's the illusion that the rule will stay the same. Because in 2025, the IRS isn't warning you. It's watching you. Part 2. The Hidden Reclassification. You see, the IRS doesn't need to raise taxes to take more of your money. All it has to do is change the definitions. In 2025, under the new crypto IRA tax rules, one word can shift an entire category of wealth. What used to be a qualified gain can quietly become ordinary income. And when that happens, your tax-free promise disappears overnight. They call it reclassification. It sounds harmless, maybe even technical, but it's not. It's a silent tool used to convert your growth into taxable revenue. Here's the clever part. They don't have to tell you when it happens. All it takes is one revision to a definition, one subtle adjustment in a sub-paragraph, and suddenly, your retirement plan looks very different. Most investors won't even know until tax season, when the letter from their custodian says, certain transactions may now be taxable under new IRS interpretation. That's not guidance. That's a confession. The system isn't warning you, it's testing you. And only those who understand the rules before they change will stay ahead of the reclassification game. Part 3. The Institutional Advantage. While you're trying to follow the rules, the institutions are rewriting them. Banks, funds, and custodians, they all have a front-row seat to the 2025 tax changes. They don't fear them, they prepare for them. Because every time the IRS shifts a definition, it creates chaos for the public and opportunity for the elite. When qualified becomes taxable, retail investors panic. They sell, they withdraw, they lose confidence. But institutions, they move in quietly, buying assets at discounts created by fear. They understand the new game before it's even announced. They fund the analysts, they shape the interpretations, and by the time the news reaches you, they've already positioned their portfolios. That's not conspiracy, that's coordination. The system isn't broken, Tuan. It's built to keep you reactive. While you read headlines, they read footnotes. While you look for guidance, They look for loopholes. And in 2025, those who understand both will own the future of retirement itself. Part 4. The middle-class blind spot. Most Americans believe they're safe because they followed the rules. They worked 40 years, paid every tax, contributed to their Roth IRA, and trusted that the system would honor its promise. But the middle class has always been the easiest to control, not through fear, but through comfort. The wealthy know the loopholes, the poor know the struggle. But the middle class, they believe the story. They believe the Roth IRA is unshakable. They believe the IRS is fair. They believe that if they just keep contributing, their money will grow untouched. That's the illusion, the idea that playing by the rules protects you from the people who write them. In 2025, those rules will quietly shift again. And millions of honest, hard-working retirees will learn that tax-free doesn't mean what it used to. It's not evil. It's design. A system built to reward information, not effort. And while the middle class keeps hoping for fairness, the informed quietly build freedom. Part 5. The IRS Playbook. The IRS doesn't need to take your money directly. It just needs to control when you can touch it. They've built a system of patience, not punishment. They let you believe you're winning, while they wait for the moment you slip. Every rule they write has a trigger. Every exception hides a penalty. And every update to the Crypto IRA Tax Rules 2025 isn't about modernization. It's about monetization. You see, the IRS doesn't chase your dollars. It traps them in definitions, in timelines, in technicalities you'll never read. They know most retirees won't hire a tax attorney. They know you'll trust your custodian, and that your custodian will trust the next memo from Washington. It's a cycle of obedience, engineered by design. You work, you save, you comply. And one day, you find that compliance has a cost. The playbook isn't written in plain sight. It's buried in revisions, footnotes, and words like interpretation. And by the time you realize it, you've already paid for the game you never agreed to play. Part 6. The breaking point. Every system eventually reaches its breaking point. And this one was never designed to last forever. For decades, they told you the same story. Save diligently. Trust the government. Retire with dignity. But in 2025, that story starts to crack. Inflation quietly eats your gains. Regulations shift beneath your feet. And the same system that promised you safety now threatens you with compliance. The breaking point isn't a single event. It's the slow realization that the rules no longer serve you. It's when retirees realize their tax-free accounts aren't truly free. It's when they watch the penalties grow while their options shrink. But here's the truth. The system isn't collapsing. It's evolving. And those who evolve with it will survive it. This is where awareness becomes power. Because once you see the pattern, you can step outside it. And when that happens, you stop playing defense and start building freedom. Part 7. The shift. Something happens when awareness turns into understanding. You stop reacting and start seeing. You realize the rules were never meant to cage you, only to test whether you'd learn to move beyond them. That's the shift. The moment you stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What now?" Because the truth is, you were never powerless. You were simply uninformed. Once you understand how the Crypto IRA Tax Rules 2025 are built, you stop fearing them and start using them. Knowledge isn't rebellion, it's responsibility. The system only wins when you stay confused, but when you see how it moves, you can plan your moves first. That's how the shift begins, not with panic, but with perspective. And perspective is what transforms compliance into control. Part 8. The blueprint. Now that you see the system for what it is, it's time to learn how to move within it. This is the blueprint. The IRS plays by definitions, so you master the definitions. They use timelines, so you use strategy. They wait for you to make mistakes, so you build discipline that never gives them the chance. The key to protecting your XRP in IRA, Roth IRA retirement isn't fear, it's structure. Understand how contributions, conversions, and distributions truly work. Separate what you earn from what you grow. And never assume that tax-free means risk-free. Because the real advantage isn't in avoiding taxes, it's in anticipating them. That's what the wealthy do. They don't run from the IRS. They learn its language. Every clause has an escape route. Every rule has a rhythm. And when you know how to move with it, you stop surviving and start thriving. This is the blueprint, not to beat the system, but to finally understand it. Part 9. The turning point. Every generation faces a moment when the story they were told no longer works. For you, that moment is now. The Crypto IRA Tax Rules 2025 are not just policy changes, they are a mirror. A reflection of how power shifts in silence, while people cling to what used to feel safe. But safety has never created freedom. The turning point begins when you understand that control comes from knowledge, not permission. When you stop asking what the IRS allows and start understanding what the law actually says. When you realize that every system, no matter how powerful, can be navigated by those who prepare and paralyze those who don't. This is the moment where fear ends and intention begins. You are not trapped inside this system. You are standing on top of it. Every strategy you learn, every decision you make from awareness instead of anxiety, moves you one step closer to financial sovereignty. And that is the true turning point. Part 10. The final truth. The truth isn't hidden. It's right in front of us. We just stopped looking. The system was never meant to make you rich. It was built to keep you comfortable. And comfort is the slowest form of surrender. In 2025, the rules will change again. Not with noise, but with silence. Not with warning, but with fine print. And every investor who waits will wake up to find that their future was negotiated without them. But not you. Because you're here. You're listening. You're seeing what others ignore. Retirement isn't built by waiting. It's built by the decision you make today. That is the vision. That is the moment the illusion breaks. You don't need permission to protect your freedom. You don't need approval to prepare. The future doesn't belong to those who react. It belongs to those who decide. And decision begins with awareness. So if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. Your turning point. Your blueprint. Your freedom. If this message spoke to you, don't let it fade when the screen goes dark, because awareness without action is just another kind of sleep. Share this video, not to grow numbers, but to wake others before it's too late. Leave a comment below. Tell us what you're doing to protect your future and what you want to understand before 2025 arrives. And if you haven't already, subscribe to XRP Today USA, not for entertainment, but for empowerment. Every episode in this series is another piece of the blueprint, a step toward clarity, confidence, and control. Because in a world built to confuse you, knowledge is rebellion. And in a system built to keep you waiting, decision is freedom. Remember this. Retirement isn't built by waiting. It's built by the decision you make today. That's the vision. That's your calling. And your time is now.